Hey everyone, I'm Holden, and today I'll be talking about Indivisible, the action RPG prototype by Lab Zero on PlayStation 4. Lab Zero's first title was Skullgirls, an awesome fighting game with deep systems which I adore, despite how bad I actually am at the game. Indivisible, however, is an action RPG in the vein of Super Metroid. While these sound like completely different genres with little overlap, Lab Zero proves that not only can they handle both well, they can merge the two into an incredible experience. The game's main character is a girl called Ajna, and accompanying her are incarnations, people she finds on her journey who take up residence in her inner realm. The inner realm is the main hub of the game, where you upgrade abilities and choose which of the incarnations will accompany you. Each incarnation has their own skills and abilities which they use to fight alongside you. There are 3 incarnations to be found in this prototype, the first of which is Zebei. Zebei is an archer who I mainly use to keep enemies at good distance. Tungar is the next incarnation, and he uses a long, flexible sword which keeps wrapped around his head like a turban. The final incarnation is Razme, a shamaness accompanied by the spirit of a tiger called Bomb, which she unleashes in combat for a multitude of effects. The prototype is split into a series of 3 temples which are interconnected. To get through the temples, you need to use all your available options for traversal, such as wall jumping, an axe, and eventually a run heavily reminiscent of the speed booster from the Metroid series. While the speed booster is fun, it's also only in the prototype briefly, so I don't have much to say about it. The axe, however, is gained early on, and is used to great effect. When jumping up a wall, swinging the axe allows you to latch on. The timing can be hard to get used to, but when it works, it gives you access to rooms higher up in the temples. After getting the axe, it is also possible to cut through vines, which previously blocked your path in some areas. Enemies wander through these temples, and upon making contact with them, combat is initiated. The combat in the game is part turn-based and part real-time. The turn-based aspect is essentially just that you cannot attack while an enemy is attacking. Outside of this, the combat is real-time, relying on a series of meters. When the meter fills, you can perform an attack. Think the active battle system of Chrono Trigger and you're heading in the right direction. Each character under your control has 3 attacks, a block, and a special move. The Idhi meter is the final meter in the prototype, and it controls blocking and special moves. This meter fills with each successful attack, but drains while you block, and is spent completely when you use a special move. This adds a deeper level of decision making to the game, as you have to choose between blocking and taking less damage, or using a special move to give you an edge in the fight. At the end of combat, any remaining Idhi meter is also converted into health for your team. I had some trouble on my first playthrough getting used to all the different meters on the screen, especially late in the game when there are 4 meters for your attacks, each with 3 segments, a health bar for each character, and your Idhi meter all to take care of. Once you get comfortable with it though, it becomes much less about meter management and more about the feel of the combat. Due to the real-time nature of the combat, it is possible to chain attacks together. This also means it is important to plan your attacks carefully, as each attack you make affects the position of the enemies. As such, it is possible to miss every subsequent hit because you knock the enemies out of your range with your first attack. That being said, planning properly and hitting a long combo using all of your characters is super satisfying. This is definitely where the fighting game roots of Lab Zero really shine through. The environment can also affect what happens during combat, such as bouncing enemies off ceilings or walls. The prototype isn't without criticism, however. I find it very difficult to tell which character is being attacked at what time. When fighting, the attacking enemy flashes, along with the character being attacked. I don't personally like this system, as it is easy to lose sight of these brief flashes amongst the other effects in the game. I would like for it to be replaced by an arrow above the head of the enemy and character, or at least that the flashes should be made more obvious. I have some more minor complaints too. During combat, you can only see 1 enemy health bar at a time, which I found really annoying. Honestly, the health of your enemies doesn't really matter all that much, but I'd still like to be able to see it. Also, attack buttons flip sides depending on which side of the screen you are facing, which can be incredibly disorienting. Thankfully though, this can be turned off. Finally, I think Razme's down attack is completely overpowered. Using it allows you to delay your enemy's attack for a small amount of time, but the amount of time it lasts is almost exactly as long as it takes to refill her meter. This trivialises the combat in the game, especially the boss fight, which otherwise is much more difficult and rewarding. Each of these problems though is so small that I almost find it pointless to mention them. I really enjoyed my time with this prototype. The game is beautiful. From the character art to the levels and animations, I could just sit and watch this game for hours. The combat is deep and engaging, with satisfying outcomes. I just loved every minute. I desperately want this to be made. At the time of writing this, Indivisible has just passed the $1.35 million mark on Indiegogo, with 4 days left. At this rate, it might just make its goal of $1.5 million, and it deserves to more than anything in recent memory. Go and back it. The prototype is amazing, and the rest of the game just looks too good not to be made. If I haven't convinced you though, go and try it for yourself. This prototype is available just about everywhere, so there's no excuse. Thanks for watching.